Hi. I have some funky lights. Are they both changing color? Yeah, they're both changing colors. I'm kidding. I'm moving up in the world. And then let's get red. Okay. Oh, no, I don't want them auto. No, I want them just red. Red. Stay red. It's Halloween and I've hardly done any videos and my hair's a mess and I'm a mess. I need to take a break from just talking medicine all the time. My job is talk medicine to people. And I talk medicine on here. I need a break. So today I'm doing a little bit of a refresh. I'm gonna stop and take a break and do something for specifically Halloween, because people I think have forgotten what Halloween is really about. It's not all about dressing up and getting candy. Surprise! It's not. So I'm going to talk about the origin of Halloween today, as well as do a makeup look. And the look is coming from probably the horror movie that has terrorized me the most in my life ever since I think it was like the 7th grade I first ever watched this movie, The Grudge. So starting off when I was young, my dad got me into the Alien movies. Those were, I thought, were fantastic movies, but they scared the living shit out of me. But it was a living thing. It was a solid, well, kind of a living thing. It was a fictional living thing, but it was something that was solid that could be killed. The Grudge, not so much. The Grudge has loopholes for everything. You don't know when or how it will kill you, but it can literally do it in any way possible. So in the first movie, I don't know, spoiler alert, I guess, warning. In the first movie, one of the caretakers for a character that was in the haunted house got murdered by the Grudge, and she ended up getting her jaw removed, her lower jaw removed. So that is basically what I'm gonna go for. All the while talking about the origin of Halloween. I'm gonna put my hair as best as I can. That's as good as that's getting. I don't know if you can see my little button up here. So taking my jumbo white pen, I'm going to start outlining where I'm gonna do stuff. So I did my homework, discovered quite a few things. I discovered that Halloween was not called Halloween before. It was called Samhain. Not sure like if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's kind of what internet told me when I was doing my homework, and this is how it's spelled. But what this was a Celtic festival. I think it was said to be mostly celebrated on November 1st, not on October 31st. October 31st was All Hallows Eve pre-celebration, and basically what people were doing, they weren't getting up in costumes and handing out candy. No, they were getting dressed up in animal skins, in animal heads, making some bonfires, and then telling each other's fortunes. The whole point of them making the fires and dressing up was to ward off ghosts, because they believed that this day, this few periods of time, is where the line between the living and the dead was quite blurred, and the dead were coming to earth, and they wanted to ward them off by dressing up. How they managed to tell each other's fortunes and if they ended up being true or not, yeah, I don't see how that worked, but that's what they claim to have done. So I want to take some pinks and reds and browns here and kind of fill in where the tongue would kind of be hanging down. So if you're wondering the time period, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but this was before the Romans took over the place. Now when the Romans did take over, the Romans already celebrated 2 holidays around the same time period. And they kind of integrated it into with the Celtic festival as well. So it's kind of just one big month full of different festivals. So one of the festivals that the Celtic celebrated was something that was called Feralia? I don't know. Something along those lines. This is how it was spelled. And then the second holiday they celebrated was called, they don't really have a name. It was just a day to honor their goddess of fruit and trees called what was it called? Pomona? I don't know. Again, this is how it was spelled. And her symbol was an apple. So this is where they think that bobbing different apples originated from. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you hear crackling, random crackling in the background, it's because I have a fake fire going on my TV. Because I don't have a real fireplace, so the way I enjoy fires is virtually through a TV. Anyway, so Romans combined their festivals along with the Celtic one of Samhain. Another reason why they celebrated it at the end of October is because they believe this was a time period, a time frame where summer ended and the harvest was beginning. So things started to die and then winter would come in, so it was kind of like the season of the dead. So as people started to learn how to travel, that there's other lands outside of theirs that exist, different stories, just like telephone, got word of mouth to one person to the next, and obviously just like telephone, the message always gets twisted and turned across the way. So stories of these festivals and ghost stories would get across to many people in different religions of different countries, and then they would adopt those stories in their own way, which then eventually over time brought us to what we celebrate today, which is nothing. There are actually some countries that don't even celebrate Halloween at all, at least not in the Americanized way. Like Mexico, China, Great Britain, Australia, Germany, Austria don't celebrate Halloween, but they will commemorate the dead in their own way, just not with costumes and candy. When it came to America, people would dress up, went to house to house to ask for food and money back in the day. In the late 1800s, Americans molded Halloween. They heard of stories of All Hallows Eve, Halloween, and they turned into that somehow. It became a more community celebration. It was no longer a frightening or gruesome holiday about ghosts and wearing carcasses. It became more of a fun celebration for the community. But unfortunately, around that time, people were then using Halloween as an excuse to vandalize property. Shocking. But then town leaders successfully limited that vandalism by making the holiday focused on young kids. And this happened around the time the big baby boom was happening, so in the 1950s. So then trick-or-treating was then invented for this. But then families didn't want to be tricked at the door, pulled pranks on, so to avoid that, they just offered out candy, which is why trick or treat, and then they just get candy at the door. So that's basically where Halloween originated from. Where did all the other stuff that Halloween included come from? Like people fearing black cats. So that whole idea originated from the fact that when they think that women were witches back in the day, when they would disguise themselves, they thought their choice of disguise would be black cats. So that's why people fear black cats, because they assume that it is going to be a witch. A witch? I can't word today. A witch in disguise when people see a black cat. Fear walking under ladders. So ancient Egyptians believed anything with a triangular shape was kind of a sacred thing. Just that ladder underneath, like leaning against something, makes that triangular shape that is sacred, and how dare you walk under that, you're going to be cursed. That's where that came from. Now, pumpkin carving or jack-o'-lanterns, oh boy, that originated from Ireland. But I don't know if you know this, pumpkins are not common in Ireland. So jack-o'-lanterns were actually turnips, because turnips were more of a common thing in Ireland. And I can tell you right now, they are so much scarier than pumpkins. Look at this. Look at this. I saw this at the front of someone's door. That's Halloween spirit, I tell you. Not this bright orange pumpkin that we've done. But that's Americanized pumpkin Halloween for you. But there's a story behind why carving it into a turnip in the first place is a thing. And that's the story of someone named Stingy Jack. I'm gonna make myself more pale. So, Stingy Jack was at a bar having a drink with the devil, obviously. Made a deal with the devil that the devil would not let him go to hell. That's if Jack bought him a drink. But Jack didn't have any money, so he said, hey, devil, turn into a coin for me so I can pay for your drink. So the devil did turn into a coin, but instead of Jack paying for the drink with the coin, he put it in his pocket where he had a crucifix, and the devil could not turn back to his normal form. Eventually, Stingy Jack died, but God did not want a human like that with his trickery coming to heaven. So he was rejected from heaven. When the devil was able to turn back, he didn't want Jack in hell either. He said, screw you, buddy. You're not coming to hell. You're gonna roam this earth in darkness forever. So he tossed Jack a burning lump of coal to light his way through the darkness. That would be his only source of light. And Jack took a turnip, carved into it to hold his piece of coal, and he walked the earth with his lantern. And that is where the story of the jack-o'-lantern. It was originally Jack of the Lantern, and then it turned to Jack-o'-lantern. Pumpkins are home to America. We use pumpkins instead. But imagine if you came up to someone's house and this is what you saw at the front door. Oh my god. I almost want to just get a turnip next year and just do that on purpose. Oh yeah, I'm pale. Oh yeah. This is just concealer, by the way, that I'm using. White concealer. So do you celebrate Halloween? Is there anything I missed that you're wondering, why do we do this instead of this? Loading up on some blood. More specifically, scab blood. I think it looks like a little bit of my jaw, besides if I turn to the side, then it's obvious, but this way works fine. I just need to make myself look more dead around the eyeballs. Do I look dead? I do. Success. If not, well then I failed at life. If you've learned something about the origin of Halloween, give the video a thumbs up. If you are celebrating Halloween this year, regardless of the pandemic, give this video a thumbs up. That is all I have for today. I wanted to go into the origin of Halloween because I honestly had never looked into the origin. I knew it honestly wasn't, I made the assumption it had nothing to do with costumes and candy. Give a thumbs up if you're going to be carved into a turnip next year instead of a pumpkin. Happy Halloween. I love you guys. See you in the next one. Bye. Bye.
Stood by your side through all of the lies, watching you cry for me. Get on your knees, apologize please. Now why don't you die for me? Call me the king, ruler of things.